Welcome back to another GR8 podcast episode. I hope you guys are having fun, having a good day, following all of the NBA trends, trades, and all these type of wild NBA things going on. This is probably going to go out Friday, hopefully June 23rd. So there's probably going to be more things that are happening between now and then. So I'm probably just going to, cover them in a later Nate the Great podcast episode, Nate's Take, the GR8 podcast. So I'm going to take about 5, 10, 15 minutes, hopefully a little bit less. I know my last podcast episode was a little bit longer. We're going to try to, condense it down, but we got a lot to cover today. So the first major trade, as everybody knows, Bradley Beal to the Suns, Chris Paul to the Wizards. And I know this is the first thing because just now, Jordan Poole to the Wizards, Chris Paul to the Warriors. But I was going to talk about Bradley Beal ultimately going to the Suns for Chris Paul, and he will join Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton. Kind of crazy that they haven't traded DeAndre Ayton. I would think that is the player that you kind of want to trade and probably get a big man for that. But no, they went the point guard route. However, Bradley Beal is not really a point guard. That's probably going to move Devin Booker up to the PG slot, Bradley Beal to the shooting guard, Kevin Durant to the small forward, and then whoever is the power forward and DeAndre Ayton as the center. That doesn't look that bad of a team, honestly. It was kind of weird because Bradley Beal has, almost taken this Damian Lillard approach. I'm going to stay in the team that drafted me or stay in the team that's loyal to me, so I'm going to be loyal to them back. And it just doesn't work out for them because they are terribly, horribly managed. They can never get somebody alongside them. They had something good going with John Wall and Bradley Beal and Marcin Gortat and all the heydays of the early 2010s Wizards. This is a really interesting trade for the Suns. The Suns are going all in, pushing all their money towards big, massive contracts and a lot of big players. I commend it for it. Honestly, I like how the Phoenix Suns are like, we're Phoenix, we're a small market team. We're going to just absolutely implode or explode, I guess, this salary cap with the new CBA rules. All this stuff is just going to go crazy in the next couple of years. But no, Bradley Beal to the Suns. Colin Cowherd said something very interesting. It's about, he went on the more Kevin Durant approach where he was talking about how Kevin Durant has always played with twitchy, not normally available teammates and weird, different personalities. Kyrie Irving, James Harden, other players always played with people that have a personality around them, always got to have something going on, especially with Kyrie Irving, although I think that's more the media side and whatnot. But now James Harden saw what was going on in Brooklyn and moved to 76ers and now just left Kevin Durant. Now Kevin Durant is on the Suns with reliable teammates. Devin Booker's been there for a while. DeAndre Ayton has been there for a while. He had Chris Paul, who is a veteran point guard, and now he has Bradley Beal, who is a second to Damian Lillard, known for his loyalty. So you can only assume that Kevin Durant should be comfortable now. It's so annoying that the whole NBA and whatever team he's on always got to just comfort Kevin Durant, just rub his shoulders. Are you okay, Kevin? Are these the teammates you want to play with? No? Okay, we'll make this massive blockbuster trade to make you happy. I think it's annoying. It's so stupid. Why do they keep on investing in Kevin Durant, a guy who they know will do almost anything to quote unquote win? Not really, just go to the next super team and maybe win and then maybe be a dumpster fire. I don't like Kevin Durant, as you can probably tell. But we had Chris Paul to the Wizards for that trade. But Chris Paul just now was traded to the Warriors for Jordan Poole. And I don't include any of these first round, second round, protected, unprotected picks or whatever. I don't care. They don't matter to me. They only turn into draft capital or possibly just trading a random guy that they're just going to cut during training camp. So it doesn't matter to me. I don't care about the picks that go with these trades. Chris Paul to the Warriors is way more interesting than Jordan Poole to the Wizards. The Wizards is kind of where players go to just end their career now. But Jordan Poole is a young player. I think he'll give the spark that they need in Washington. I can't wait to see him play in home games because I live close to DC. Chris Paul to the Warriors, though. Chris Paul's like 40 years old. Can he really be a veteran point guard, which they already have a point guard in Steph Curry? Are they just going to shift everybody down Klay Thompson cannot play small forward. I don't know who's making that decision. Having Chris Paul to the Warriors, is this just another a trade capital thing? Are they going to just use him for another trade? What's going to go on? Does Chris Paul actually suit up for a single game for the Warriors? Is that what actually happens in the next coming NBA season? I don't know. I think I have more to say about Bradley Beal to the Suns than Chris Paul to the Warriors, because at this point, Chris Paul, he's washed. Okay? He's coming off of one of his worst performances in a season last season. No wonder they traded him. But now he's on the Warriors, and it doesn't make any sense. The Warriors don't need him. I thought they had a fairly good bench. That's what the Warriors paraded themselves out to be. A good bench team, good development team. Now they have veteran Chris Paul for the young players that don't play well, when they already had players like Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green on their team. Can they not teach these young players to play well? I don't know. Whatever. We're going to move on to Tyus Jones to the Celtics. I don't care. But Marcus Smart to the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies just got their Dylan Brooks replacement, I guess. But no, that's going to be kind of weird seeing him in not a Celtics jersey. What are the Celtics going to do? I don't know. What are the Celtics thinking? Until they traded for Kristaps Porzingis. Every time that Kristaps Porzingis is traded to another team, everybody's saying, okay, this is his time again. He's going to act like the Kristaps Porzingis, the Tingus Pingus, like he was in New York. That will never happen again. I hate to tell everybody, okay? But the New York Knicks is just the place to go if you're an underdeveloped free agent that's an underdog. And maybe you're foreign or whatever. Jeremy Lin, Kristaps Porzingis. And then you go on for another team, play for another, year, a couple years, and you're average, you're a bench player, you're a role player, you don't do anything. Kristaps Porzingis to the Celtics. Who is that helping? Is that helping with size? I don't think the Celtics necessarily had a size problem. I always thought they had a traditional point guard problem. That's why I thought Chris Paul going to the Celtics would actually be pretty good, but now they got their point guard. Oh wait, no they don't. It's Tyus Jones. Tyus Jones. Tyus Jones is the answer to your problems. Okay, bud. Malcolm Brogdon to the Clippers. Sure. Marcus Morris to the Wizards. I could not care less where any of the Morris brothers go. They're a nice, solid role player. They're both nice, solid role players that just keep on getting traded around. They are nothing more than just trade value. And I don't know why teams just keep on falling for these clowns. They're not good basketball players. They start fights and they think the world revolves around them. I don't know. I don't like the Morris twins. I don't think they're good players. But that's all that we have for the trades going on as of 4:12 p.m. on June 22nd. It's a Thursday. Tonight's the NBA draft, and there's probably going to be way more that's going on from now until tomorrow, up until tonight, because in the next couple hours there's probably going to be more news. But whatever, I wanted to record this podcast episode that my next Nate's take isn't so long. I did want to take a couple minutes on Victor Wembanyama to the Spurs. Now, when there was the NBA draft lottery where they were picking what teams get certain picks, right? They picked the Spurs to get the number one pick. I sat back and I said, okay, that's pretty interesting. Everybody else thought that, okay, Wembanyama to the Spurs. I'm like, whoa, and I almost recorded a Nate's take about this. Whoa, why are we just all of a sudden assuming that the Spurs are going to take Wembanyama? I've always been a big person to talk about this in my head. So I don't think I've ever talked about this publicly or any to my friends. I don't care who's the first pick, who's the second pick, who's the third pick. It doesn't matter. You know who was the first pick a couple years ago? Blake Griffin. Look where he's at now. Ringless and has several children with Lana Rhodes. Dude, former number one pick Ben Simmons. When do we stop caring about drafts? Why do we consistently care about who is going where in the draft? Nikola Jokic was traded during like a Taco Bell commercial. Stop caring about different players. Victor Wembanyama going to number 1. Okay, so and the Spurs got number 1. Okay, so that automatically thinks that he's going to the Spurs. I never thought that until I started reading, I started listening, I started to understand. Greg Popovich met with him. Wembanyama is like now moving to San Antonio. This is all before the draft. He works out for like, I think only the Spurs. Did the Spurs just decide their fate for themselves? Do they need Victor Wembanyama? It's a great pick for the Spurs. It's a great pick for almost any NBA team. It's going to be nice and cool to see him being under Greg Popovich. I think that's going to, tighten him up. And not that he's like a loose cannon or whatever, but he's shooting pull-up three-pointers on one leg in the French league. Somebody's got to put a stop to that. But I think they have a new quiet big man. I don't think he has that big of a personality, Victor. I don't think he has that huge of a personality. I think he's down to earth, low key, ready to play some basketball and make millions of dollars over it. I think he should be more ready to become the face of the NBA and the face of a new generation of NBA fans. Apparently, all going down in San Antonio, they're naming coffee shop drinks off of Victor Wembanyama. There's parades, there's flags, there's people are talking about. There's somebody from The Athletic is from San Antonio, went to the grocery store and saw that we had that they had got the number 1 pick, and they're like, and apparently people in the grocery store in San Antonio started celebrating that they got Victor Wembanyama. I bet if I go and ask my mom, you showed him a picture or tell me about what you're hearing in the NBA, she would almost more than likely say that Victor Wembanyama is going to the Spurs or something along those lines. That's how much of a culture change he's making in the culture zeitgeist. That's the new word that I've been trying to put in. The culture zeitgeist, the culture, the environment of America, specifically basketball, well, specifically sports, and then even more specifically basketball. He's changing the game and hasn't even set foot on an NBA court. It's so interesting. So much goes into prospects. Is he a top prospect of the last 100 years for all of basketball's existence? I mean, he's 7'3", and as history points us to, that isn't necessarily good for a tall guy to play in the NBA, even athletically. Like, just like the guy that we were talking about earlier, Kristaps Porzingis. He got hurt. He cannot stay healthy. He's like a giant 7'2", 7'3", or whatever. Kevin Durant has issues with health, even this past year. When you have this guy that like moves like a guard, can shoot like a guard, play in the post like a big man, and defend like the rest of them, and this guy's going to be the number 1 prospect on the Spurs, who are just a goofy team right now. There's a lot on his shoulders to perform at the best quality that he can possibly can. To do that, he's going to have to move around a lot. To do that, he's going to have to play a lot. And if you play more, if you move more, you're probably going to put more weight and strain on your body. Is that good for a 7'3" guard? I don't know how really the health trainers, the physical trainers are over in France as compared to over here in the US in the NBA. I don't know if they're better. I don't know if they're worse. I don't know what they do differently, if they do anything differently. It's just interesting to talk about Victor Wembanyama and the other draft prospects. It's interesting to see all the different shakeups in the league with all these trades. I'm excited. Hope you guys are excited. The NBA is going to look a whole lot different this upcoming season. I'm really excited for it. Thank you guys so much for listening, watching, having fun with me, talking about the NBA draft and Victor Wembanyama and NBA as a whole. I love to talk basketball. Talk to you guys soon. See ya. Peace.